Okay, BlazeLeeDragon here, and I thought I would make a video. Now, it is rather cold out. In fact, I think it's like -4 degrees here in wonderful Ohio. Today's video, I figured it was probably going to be about assumptions. And I find it interesting that many people in our society, what I mean by society is I mean the USA, in Ohio, from my personal experience, just for the simple fact that I can't speak for everyone. However, it seems to be fairly trendy for people everywhere to make assumptions. I mean, I think we're just kind of people that make prejudgments and guesses and stereotypes all the time. I think we all do it to a certain degree. I know I do it now and then. Obviously, I try not to, but all of us do it. It's interesting talking with individuals that come from different cultures and the way that they see our culture. Currently, with the job that I'm working, I am working with individuals that are from other countries. And some of them are here on visas, and some of them have actually moved and become citizens. And most of them are very friendly, and I like them a lot. I actually enjoy working with them. But it's interesting because some of the conversations we had, especially with the holiday season that just passed, it seems that there was assumptions. Once again, that's the purpose of this video and this, I guess, I don't know, rant or just this little talk, is that it's assumed that as Americans we all do the same holidays and we all have the same traditions and we pretty much all believe in the same stuff, and that's just not the case. Actually, I think no matter what country you go to, there's always going to be unique individuals, and sometimes there are larger quantities than others. Some of the assumptions, of course, being that as an American we must celebrate Christmas. And I, for one, obviously do not celebrate Christmas. I don't recognize it or care to have anything to do with it. I think the most I'll have to do with it is if my family's celebrating and wants me there, I'm going to be there because it's my family and I love them. But I'm not necessarily going to partake. I'm just going to be there, spend time with them, and eat dinner and go home. There's nothing religious involved or no celebration involved. And usually on the 25th, I'm sitting home playing video games or watching something with the wife. So I just thought it was interesting, of course, having that assumption, hey, you must do Christmas because you live in America. That, of course, doesn't just apply to people from foreign countries. That applies to Americans, too. They see each other and they assume. It's very common and seems to be acceptable in society for people to just run around wishing each other Merry Christmas. In some cases, it's almost expected for employees or individuals to wish people that are shopping there or talking to them during that time to wish them a Merry Christmas. It just seems to be customary. And I'm not saying it's the end of the world. It's wrong. Yeah, it does agitate me a little bit. Obviously, that's why I'm bringing it up. But I don't think it's the end of the world, and I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I just think it's an interesting thing, and that's the thing. It's like, when did it become okay and stereotypical to be so closed-minded? Not to say that's the most closed-minded thing. I mean, let's talk about homosexuals. Let's talk about individuals that like people of the same sex. How instantly they're stereotyped, or if somebody's dressing a certain way, they have to be homosexual because that's how homosexuals dress. And once again, you see that in this country, you see it in other countries. I mean, you see people stereotyping people right off the bat based upon how they look. You see an individual and he's got long hair and he's got a beard and he's some sort of weirdo bum from the street. It's like, where do these stereotypes come from? I think they come from time, and I think they come from intolerance, and I think they come from people, society, and people just training people that's not acceptable, or that's not the way it's supposed to be. Some of the interesting stereotypes for Christmas with some of the individuals that I've worked with is that I was talking with one individual who is from India, and she is Christian. Now, of course, it's very easy for me to make the stereotype and the assumption that she's Hindu because she's Indian. I believe the word Hindu is actually supposed to mean Indian in a different language or something like that. When some of my wife's reading and researching that she's done, I think she might have mentioned that to me. I don't remember where I originally heard it. Regardless, usually associate being Indian with being Hindu, and in this case, it wasn't that. And we were discussing and talking about not only Christmas, because it was very shocking to her that I did not do Christmas, but we were also talking about weddings and ceremonies, and her situation was rather interesting. She had an arranged marriage. I think she's type of Protestant, I believe, and she had an arranged marriage, which I guess I was a little bit shocked, because you usually don't hear about them very often, especially here in America. We don't really talk about arranged marriages. I'm sure they might happen around here somewhere, but I'm not familiar with them. And speaking with her, she was talking about this necklace that she got during the wedding, and it's like a symbol of her being married, and she's never supposed to take it off. However, it was agreed upon with her in-laws that it was okay for her to take it off because of the chain being so large and valuable. She didn't want to lose it or have it stolen, which is understandable. And I don't see any problem with taking it off personally, but to her faith, to her particular denomination, path, spirituality, it's a big no-no to take it off. And apparently in their society in India, it's somewhere in southern India, where she comes from, they don't take it off. And she said to me that it's very much like the American's wedding ring. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, well, the wedding ring, you guys never take it off. You're not supposed to take it off, right? And I'm like, well, not everybody does wedding rings. She's like, they don't? I was like, yeah, not everybody does wedding rings, and those that do, they usually don't have a problem with it. And I took mine right off right there, and she kind of dropped her jaw like, oh no, how could you do that type of a deal? And I said to her, and I've said this to my wife too, and I believe she's of the same mind. We've never talked about it too much, but essentially it's just a piece of metal. She takes hers off all the time when she's washing or cleaning dishes and forgets to put it back on after a while. I mean, the wedding band itself, I mean, sure, there's symbolism and there's meaning behind it and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, to me at least, and to my wife, or to us, to our relationship, it's just a piece of metal. What makes us man and wife and choosing to be spouses is the choices and the commitments we made to each other in our hearts during our hand fasting. And it's the waking up every morning and choosing each other again. You know, that's what makes us a married couple, not the band of metal. And that's not to belittle people who do feel you shouldn't take off your ring. And I'm not saying that that's wrong. I mean, that's your choice, by all means. It's just, once again, we come into these stereotypes and assumptions. You know, they assume. I know a friend, or a former friend, and her parents, when they got married, they didn't even do rings at all. They just crushed roses and books, and they kept the roses, and that's symbolic of their union. And yeah, there's all sorts of ways to do it. People sometimes get tattoos. People sometimes don't do anything, period. It's different for each individual and each couple, and I think they need to find what's right for them. But my point is, it's just, it seems to be a natural assumption that you have to be this way or you have to be that way. I just, yeah, I guess that's my little rant, my little complaint. I don't want to make this video too long, but thank you for watching. If you liked hearing my thoughts and seeing my balaclava, that's what I'm wearing on my head. It's I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but it's very warm. Yeah, thumb up, like, subscribe, ask questions, comment below. This is Blaze. Thank you for watching.